Dear friends, Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. Today I am going to start a book. The name of the book is 31 Planes of Existence by Venerable Suvarno Mahathira. I have downloaded this book from www.buddhanet.net, buddhanet.net. It is a Buddha Dham Education Association. Why I have decided to take this book? Because many Buddhists in India and other parts of the world also do not like to touch anything which sounds superstitious to any other religions. But I think that rather just calling it a superstition, we should go and search that what's inside the texts and teachings. So let us begin this 31 Planes of Existence. S.K. Dhammananji has also given one reference of a book with a similar title but by different author. The author's name he mentioned was E. Baptist. So this book, the 31 Planes of Existence, as transcribed from Bhante Suvarno's cassette recordings by Gene Worms, published by Inward Path, Penang, Malaysia. So let us start. I am skipping introduction and forward in this video. Maybe if I think it is necessary, then I would add that in another video. The 31 Planes of Existence. In this context, existence means life or living. Planes means realms, levels or worlds, places. In Pali, the word lok is a near equivalent, as the English language does not have an exact translation. We can say that these realms are as much places as they are mental states. For example, if your mind is evil, nasty and unwholesome, and you are constantly following your mind's will, then you are already living in the realm of hell. Furthermore, if you perform such unwholesome actions again and again without fear and without being mindful to the results, you will be reborn in a place of sufferings, a hell realm. If you are honest, virtuous, and your mind is pure, and you constantly practice the unwholesome acts of dan, seal, and bhavana, meditation, to develop your purity, then you are living in a heavenly state and are sure to be reborn in a clean, beautiful and pure place, a heavenly realm, or even attain Nibbana. This cosmology and natural law applies to all beings, not just Buddhists, for such laws or Dhamma are not inventions of the Buddha but are natural and rediscovered by him when he became enlightened under the Bodhi tree. Bhavana means meditation. I said this thing, bhavana, that is meditation. One thing that we should remember is that all beings without exception living in the different realms are impermanent. They do not live forever. Some beings in the heavens can live for aeons, but once they die in one realm, they will be reborn as another being in another realm unless they have attained Nibbana, which means that they don't have to suffer or be reborn in any of these realms. They have achieved non-existence. Aeons means one of a class of powers or beings conceived as emanating from the Supreme Being and performing various functions in the operations of the universe. The inescapable law of karma, or in Sanskrit called as karma, guarantees that each karma or karma is like what you do. It can be physical, it can be mental. The Buddhism stresses that mental karma is more important than physical. For example, you want to give some money to a poor person but you don't have, but you feel that you want to give, then that is also your karma. Your feeling is also a karma, your thinking is also a karma, or your work, your action. The inescapable law of karma guarantees that each and every one of our actions, whether it be of body, speech or mind, has consequences in line with the skillfulness or otherwise of that action. We can often witness this process first hand in our own lives. The effects may not be immediately apparent, but the Buddha also taught that our actions have effects that extended far beyond our present life, determining the quality of rebirth after death. Act of wholesome, skillful ways, and you are destined for a favorable rebirth. Act in unwholesome, unskillful ways, and an unpleasant rebirth awaits. In our ignorance, we stumble for aeons through sansar, propelled from one birth to the next by the quality of our choices and our actions, not knowing where we shall end up next, and unconsciously clinging to and craving for a better existence, rushing helter-skelter as is blindfolded to join a speeding bullet train taking us to a destination we know not where. Compare this to a flock of chickens on the farm, happily scrounging for food, oblivious of the fact that at any time one or any of its number will be picked up and slaughtered. The suttas described 31 distinct planes or realms of existence into which beings can be reborn during their own wandering through sansar. These range from the extraordinarily dark, grim and painful hell realms all the way up to the most sublime, refined and exquisitely blissful heavenly realms. Existence in every realm is impermanent. In the cosmology taught by the Buddha, there is no eternal heaven or hell. Beings are born into a particular realm according to both their past karma and their karma at the moment of death. When the karmic force that propelled them to that realm is finally exhausted, they pass away, taking rebirth once again elsewhere according to their karma, and so the wearisome cycle continues on and on into the deepest recess of infinity. You can see another video of mine which is by K. Dhamananji. His own video is also available and audio is also available on rebirth. In these 31 planes, 11 realms are dominated by the 5 senses, which includes our own human realm. 6 other realms occupied by devas and 4 realms are sufferings. Devs are deities. The lowest plane being Hell, Nirai, Hell, Nirai, and in ascending order, the animal world, the world of the Peth, or in Sanskrit it is called Preth or hungry ghosts, and the world of the Asur. These are the planes of suffering where there is no opportunity to gain merits. Unfortunately, these planes are the most populated, bursting at their seams with beings reaping the fruits of their past evil deeds. We must understand that in these 4 woeful planes, the most fearsome is hell, there being 8 major hells, 5 minor hells, and various sub-hells. In certain hell situations, there is no let-up of suffering for even one moment. Going beyond these 11 are another 16 realms of devs and gods of various classifications, and finally there are 4 pure abodes of formless gods where the lifespan is so long that it appears to be timeless. Because of this length of time, certain gods whose lifespans are much longer than others have the idea that they are immortal, having seen so many others committing and going whilst they themselves are still around. The Buddha further said that these 31 planes of existence exist not only in this universe but are found among millions of other world systems or universe. Even system of the world has its 31 planes of existence. This unique universal truth was realized by the Buddha on his enlightenment 2500 years ago. It is perhaps worth mentioning that only the Buddha was able to discover this unique truth, though through the process of a method or discipline known today as Vipassana Bhavana or insight meditation. Thus far, no other religious teacher can be known to propound and teach this unique natural law. The Buddha further exhorted that to strive for the attainment of enlightenment should be the ultimate goal of his students and disciples. Many of his disciples were able to achieve enlightenment during his ministry, and one of the few notable ones, called Aniruddha, was able to confirm what the Buddha saw. So how many world systems are there in all? The early Buddhist text Nikaya, a Buddhist text is called Nikaya, sometimes talk in terms of the 1,000-fold world systems, the twice 1,000-fold world system, and the thrice 1,000-fold world system. According to Buddhaghosh, there are one it is like 1 into 10 raised to power 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 into 10 raised to power 12 world systems. 2500 years ago, the Buddha and his enlightened disciples have witnessed what today science has just begun to discover, that there are other world systems, each with its life forms, as are found in this vast universe. Human beings who are ignorant of the Dhamma neither find the necessity to develop wholesome or good actions or deeds, nor do they fear to do bad deeds. The Buddha was very clear: if beings do not do good deeds, they will not accumulate merits, in which case in their next rebirth they are sure to be reborn into the world of hungry ghosts, animals, and wandering spirits. If one disagrees good deeds and only performs bad deeds, it is similar to one planting a tree with its root reaching right to the bottom of hell. Beings who advocate against good and wholesome deeds are very unwise. Why? In a person who does not perform good deeds, the karmic energy he creates is unwholesome, and at very rebirth he will find himself in one of the four woeful planes. It has been said by the wise that whatever seeds one sows, the fruits thereof shall one reap. See, they have given a footnote that about the number of words. The footnote is, this view is supported in the book Atlas of the Universe by Patrick Moore, published by Cambridge University Press in the UK in 1998. Life in the Universe at page 206, in which he stated there are 100,000 million stars in our galaxy, many of which are like the sun. We can see 1,000 million galaxies, and it does not seem reasonable to believe that in all this host, our sun alone is attended by a system of planets. Let us continue. The Buddha has said that beings who had performed good deeds in previous existences would find rebirth in one of the 27 planes, including the human plane. These 27 planes are known to be Sugati, that is, in a happy world. The four woeful planes are known as Dugati. These four woeful planes are really sorrowful, as there will be no joy or laughter, only suffering. Only human beings who regularly practice mental development and those in the habit of doing good deeds will gain merits to be reborn in one of the 27 happy planes. Unfortunately, many human beings make up the minority number here. Even in these Sugati planes, some humans are laughing and some are crying. Some have plenty to eat and some go starving. Why do all these inequalities come about? All these are the results of karma. In the final analysis, good things that happen to one, wealth, having enough to eat and wear, happiness and peace, are due to the sowing of good seeds on fertile ground, thus accumulating merits. One cannot be reborn into any existence as one desires, but will fall into any one of the 31 planes of existence according to one's past karma. It is written in the Manuals of Buddhism by Lady Sayadaw, Sayadaw. Sayadaw. Lady Sayadaw further states that dispersion of life after death is worse than death itself, for the four realms of misery down to the great Avicii, hell, stand wide open to a Puthujan, that is, a worldling who is ignorant of the Dham, who departs from the abode of man like space without any obstruction. As soon as the term of life expires, he may fall into any of the Niraya or realm of misery, whether far or near or passing away. There is no intervening period of time. He may be reborn as an animal, as a Peth or Pret, a rest shade, or as an Asur or Titan in the wink of an eye. The same holds true if he dies in the upper six realms of Devs. However, if he dies from the higher levels of Ruplok and Aruplok, there is no direct fall into the four realms of misery, but there is a halt of one existence either in the abode of man or in one of the six realms of the Devas, wherefrom conditioned by his calm and his unskillful actions in the human abode, he may yet fall into one of the four realms of misery. In our experience, it is in this existence we know that some people are reborn into wealthy families and some into poor families. Some grow up in golden cradles and some sleep on gunny sacks on the floor. Some are tall or short, beautiful or ugly. Some are stupid and some are intelligent. All these inequalities, the Buddha explained, are the results of the merits or demerits of the actions of dhan and generosity done in our previous existences. Giving dhan, keeping of precepts, and practicing meditation are good, wholesome deeds. If human beings practice these three goods and wholesome actions, they will stand very good chances of finding rebirth in happy planes. These 31 planes are divided into three types of worlds. 1. Kamalok or Kamabhav, that is the sensuous world, having 11 planes. 2. Rupalok or Rupabhav, that is the world of form or fine material world, 61 planes. 3. Arupalok or Arupabhav, that is the formless world or immaterial world, having 4 planes. So I will begin with the next chapter in another video on Kamlok. Just wait. 29. 40. Let us begin in this video about Kamlok, the sensuous world. The sensuous world is finely divided into the following planes: Kama Dugati, Kama Sugati. Kama Dugati Bhumi, the 4 states of deprivation, Appe, are as follows: Nirya, Niray. In Sanskrit or Hindi they call it Nark, Niray, hell. These are realms of unimaginable suffering and anguish described in graphic detail in Majjhima Nikaya. They should not be confused with the eternal hell proposed by other religions, since one's time here is, as it is in every realm, temporary. Unwholesome actions, murdering one's parents, or an arhat injuring the Buddha, or creating a schism, that is division, in the Sangha, being quarrelsome and annoying to others, are the ways to enter this region. Human beings virtually consider hell as being at the very bottom in the plains of, and often think that hell is inside a volcano and under the ground or ocean, but it doesn't have to be in any one place. Besides, there are about a billion solar systems, so why does hell have to be under the ground on earth? It could be anywhere, and the heavens could be anywhere too, not just up in the clouds. We should try to visualize these realms more as states of beings, not just places or up and down. Niray, Nire, Naraka, Niray, the lowest level in the hell region, is a place of unimaginable torment, totally devoid of happiness, that is sukh. Only suffering, that is dukh, is to be found here. In this life, if one does very harmful things like killing parasite, like killing patricide or matricide, one will condition the mind to be negative or unwholesome. When passing away in this state of mind, one will surely find rebirth in this realm of great torment, joining other negative minded beings to suffer for a very long time. One must realize that one is not being punished by anyone. It is a natural process of cause and effect, just as similar grains of sand gather to form a beach and birds of a feather flock together, so do evil beings naturally attract and end up with other evil beings. The same natural law applies to all realms. 2. Tirachhana Yoni. Tirachhana Yoni animals. This realm includes all the non-human forms of life that are visible to us under ordinary circumstances. Animals, insects, fish, birds, worms, etc. Behaving like an animal will get one to this plane. The animal world is also not a pleasant place, but often we think that it is. We look at birds flying in the sky and we say, ah, so beautiful. They are free and can go anywhere they want to fly. Flying is not as easy as it looks. Imagine putting on a set of wings and trying to take off. Could you keep your arms outstretched for even 5 or 10 minutes? Birds do it for hours, sometimes days. Besides, why they are flying around up there anyway? They are not doing it for fun. They are working. They are searching for food, or sometimes to build their nests with, looking after their kids and looking out for danger. Birds and animals are always afraid that someone or something is going to get them, so they live with fear and worry. Animals' lives are not so great. They have no choice but to search for food, flight and kill to stay away. They must mark and guard their territory and then become hostile to intruders. We think that some animals are lucky, like house pets, but are they really happy? Maybe they would prefer to be not in the maybe they would prefer to be out in the wild or catching their own food. We don't know. I know that they are dependent upon us, and when we go away they fret and worry. I once met a man who said that he wanted to be reborn as a lion, king of the jungle. I said that lions have to kill for their food and fight the other lions to continue to be the king. It's not an easy life. Also, animals don't have any options in life. They are bound and restricted by their environment's intelligence and instincts. 3. Petalok or Pretalok or hungry ghosts. The next realm is that of the Pet, or often referred to as hungry ghosts. They wander hopelessly this in this realm, searching in vain for fulfillment. It is said that hungry ghosts also it is said that hungry ghosts have big fat stomachs and tiny little mouths. They are very satisfied, always hungry, and can never get enough to eat. So if people are very greedy and don't practice dan, that is sharing or giving or equal distribution, then they might become one of these beings. Sometimes people have pity for the Pet because they can't do good deeds for themselves, so they try to help them by doing good deeds and sharing merits with them, particularly if they think that their departed relatives may have been reborn as one. Generally speaking, ghosts are the humans who have a very strong attachment to human existence or a particular place, and although they are dead, they can't leave. I think that friendly ghosts exist in this realm too, the ones who have lost their way, or those who died suddenly and don't know that they are dead, yet or who have unfinished business to do. For these trapped beings, metta, that is loving kindness from us, will help them along. There is no need to be afraid of ghosts. 4. Asur or demons. Asur or demons or titans are powerful and warlike, but it seems that they don't harm humans. These demons, titans that dwell there, that dwell here, are engaged in relentless conflict with one another. Some people are afraid of these beings, but few beings can go from one realm to another realm, but cannot become animals or just go and visit heaven or hell and come back again. Neither can they. So do not be afraid, be friendly. These four lower realms are unhappy or dukh, suffering realms. There is no chance to be good or to do good. When we do metta bhavana, that is loving kindness meditation, and we say, may all beings be happy and peaceful, healthy and strong, it includes all these beings too. B. Kama Sugati Bhumi. After the four woeful planes, there is the human plane and 6 other planes of heavenly gods, the highest of which is Paranamita Vaswati, the abode of the gods, who makes others' creation serve their own ends. 5. Manusyalok, human beings, world of human beings. You are here for now. Rebirth as a human being is extraordinarily rare. See Samyukta Nikaya. It is also extraordinarily precious, as its unique mix of pleasure and pain facilitates the development of virtue and wisdom to the degree necessary to set one free from entire cycle of rebirths. The attainment of stream entry, Sottapati, guarantees that all future rebirths will be in the human or higher realms. The human world has not only a mixture of dukh and sukh, but also upekha, which means balance, neutrality or equanimity. That is a balance of emotions and mind, thoughts. Humans are found in many varied and extreme life situations. Some are born in poor villages or countries without proper food, clean water, clothes, money, adequate sanitation, etc. To these unfortunate people, it is hell on earth, all dukh. I assume that all of us here are average. We have good families, well fed and clothed, with children going to good schools. We are not rich, not poor, or our lives have the normal ups and downs. Some are reborn as princes, some princes or prince or princess, and have the best of everything, very little dukh and lots of sukh. They live heavenly lives in this world. Only in this human realm is there pleasant and unpleasant, happy and unhappy, good and bad, and everything in between. Therefore, beings can only really understand the true nature of existence in the human realm. We can realize the imbalance of existence and endeavor to restore the balance, particularly in our own mind. It is possible to debate whether these realms are real or whether they are merely fanciful metaphors describing the various mind states we might experience in this lifetime. The real message of this cosmology is simple this: unless we take steps to break free from the iron grip of karma, we are doomed to wander aimlessly in sansar with genuine peace and satisfaction always out of reach. The Buddhas Noble Eightfold Path provides us with precisely the tools we need to break out of this cycle once and for all to true freedom. 6. Chatum Chatu Maharajika Chatu Maharajika heaven. Devs or four great kings come of the homes of the Gandharvas, the celestial musicians, and the Yaksh, tree spirits of varying degree of ethical purity. 7. Tavatimsa heaven, the 33 gods with Sakha or Indra as their king. A devotee of Buddha presides over this realm. Many devs dwelling here live in mansions in the air. 8. Yama heaven, Yam devs. These devs live in the air free of all difficulties. 9. Tusita heaven, the world of contented devs, a realm of pure delight and gaiety. Bodhisattvas abide here prior to their final human birth. 10. Nimanrati heaven, world of devs delighting in creation. These devs delight in the sense objects of their own creation. 11. Paranimita Vaswati heaven, world of devs wielding power over the creation of others. These devs enjoy sense pleasures created by others for them. Mar, the personification of delusion and desire, lives here. There are 6 Dev realms including in this group. In other religions, when they talk about heaven, only one, they are talking about this Devlok. Here, there is very little dukh. It is mostly very pleasant. The beings here are not born as babies, they are already adults and they remain the same age until they die. There may be beautiful golden mansions with gardens and angels playing lovely music. There are documented cases where people have physically or clinically died, left their bodies, in bracket the rebirth process has already begun, bracket close, and see these heavens but meanwhile recover and have to come back to their bodies again. This is called the near-death experience. It is not strange, it is natural. A person might end up in these realms by following his religion correctly. Bodhisattvas who practice dan, that is sharing, seal, that is morality, and bhavana, that is meditation, particularly metta bhavana, that is loving kindness, may be reborn in these devloks. The luxuries and sensual pleasures enjoyed by the devs and devis in the 6 devloks are far superior to any human pleasure one can dream of. There are beautiful gardens and parks where devs and devis stroll about in an almost timeless period. Their dwellings are mansions nestling gently among verdant green foliage and beautiful pleasant lakes where crystal clear waters give them a sense of peace and calmness. The jeweled mansions where devs reside are created by their own good calm. All devs look as if they are 20 years old and devis 16. They never age. They remain youthful and beautiful all their lives. They consume only celestial food, so their bodies produce no excreta. Devs and Devis have different kusal kam, and so some are better looking than others. Naturally, their mansons too are of different grades according to their kusal kam. Kusal kam's rightful work, right work. All these divine abodes are full of sensual pleasures and are fully enjoyed by the celestial beings, so much so that they do not find the necessity to meditate or to keep their precepts. Thus, there is no possibility of doing good or practicing the dham or meditation in these devloks, passing away on exhausting their kusal kam, that is right work, and not having accumulated further merits in these devloks, they are sure to descend into one of the four woeful planes. To be reborn into the devlok or celestial planes is not a great comfort, as we see clearly that there are many dangers and hindrances towards spiritual progress. To the unwary, these are linked to booby traps. This was the end of Kamlok. I will begin with Rooplok in another video. I have enjoyed it as a reading. Don't just believe or don't believe, don't believe, no need to believe or don't believe at this point. Let us all learn. Let me also learn. Let you also learn. Let us do meditation. Let us grow compassion. Let us grow equanimity. Let us grow kindfulness, loving and kindness in ourselves. Let us practice these things and let us see what we have achieved. I have said in a seminar on Buddhism that of course there are many things in Buddhism which are not understood. See, every people cannot understand everything. A scientist has different language, a mathematician has different language, a poet has a different language, maybe a meditator or a Buddhist has a different language, a religious person, a person who is who is learning or who is doing so many different things, he has different language. Let us explore more into this. I have found it very interesting, really. I would like to share many things in another videos. Thank you very much. Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.